Okay, we're live. What's up, everybody? I am Ryan.
I'm Richard.
He is Richard, and he can hear you. So here we go.
Sure is now.
Hey, what's up, everybody? It is Monday. It's 8 p.m., so Richard and I are still on time. That's cool. So, two things we're going to start off with before we dive into the news with Richard. First of all, on Mother's Day, I broke the television. I broke my wife's television in the living room. If there's anything that she relies on to keep her sanity, it's not me, it's not wine or anything like that. She needs that TV. So I was scared for my life the entire week. So I made up for it. We bought a 65-inch as opposed to the old 55-inch. She's upstairs watching Teen Mom. You know, very classy stuff going on.
Yeah.
If she can hear me, she's gonna kill
she
me.
She wants to get that perspective of what you went through. I guess you weren't a teen. By the way, why have they not done a teen dad?
I'm
sorry. I guess in most of the teen moms, there's a dad there. Some of them, I guess, there's a dad in those stories. So.
Yeah, and it's like I watch a few. I'm sure you've experienced this. You get sucked in quickly.
Sure, absolutely.
So I'm watching and I'm just like, this wasn't me. This wasn't me. Then again, I had a much better support system among other things, but I'm just like, what's she doing? Where's he going? Where's the dad? Why is it? And I'm just like, oh man, this is what happens. But this is why people get sucked in. You get invested.
And one of the ways that people suck people in is incentives. Do we have an incentive to try to get some more people to? And I guess we're going to, for those of us who listen to the entire show, you're going to hear us mention our contest several times today. Oh, that's really funny.
Did you see it?
Yeah, no. I had my Facebook page open where it's like 20 seconds behind. So your mouth was moving and I could, so it's called Truff.
Oh man! So Richard isn't aware. So if you know what truff is, it's life-changing hot sauce. It really is.
I'm not a hot sauce person either. So
that's the thing. I'm not really either. But it's made of truffle. It has truffles in it, so it has that light, sweetness to it, but also that nice burn. So real quick, if you're watching, here's our incentive. Sorry, the camera's a little. Okay, so this is a Truffed gift pack. All right, Truffed gift pack, I believe they're calling it. So you have the Truff hot sauce, you have the Truff hotter sauce, and then you also have the special edition Truff white sauce. All right, so it doesn't matter where you are, who you are. I will get this to you if you win the raffle. So what you need to do is you need to share the stream right here and tag 2 people. That's it. So you can share, tag 2 people, walk away. Your name will be put in, and then we will pick the winner later this week. So yes, incentive.
That's nice. Yeah, I'm actually a little scared of that. I'll tell you where my frame of reference is for. I stopped at KFC and got their Nashville hot chicken. I was like, on the car ride back, I'll just eat one of the little finger, the tenders I got.
Yeah.
I ate 2 bites of the Nashville hot chicken and was like, oh, it's too hot. I have to wait till I get home to eat it with, so I have something I'm not very good with the hot sauces. So
no, I'm not either. So this hot sauce and we get along, but yeah. So just one more little bit. Again, Truff isn't paying us any money. I wish they would, but for Richard's knowledge and anybody who's listening,
no.
Truff came on the scene about 3 or 4 years ago. They've expanded into marinara sauce. They've expanded into mayonnaise. So they're building their portfolio, going strong. I love it. I have a bottle here and a bottle at work. So yes, again, in that box right there, share, tag 2 friends, Truff hot sauce, Truff hotter sauce, and special edition Truff white sauce. That's it. You just have to share and tag 2 people. That's it. That's all you got to do. Very simple.
And you could be trying out this hot sauce soon, yeah.
And you could be trying out this hot sauce. So I don't know. It's been quite a week, Richard. Why don't we dive into your news? You ready?
Am I going to get a theme song? Go.
You sure are. Here we go.
Hey, everyone, and welcome to the news this week. So this is the first week that I haven't got most of my news from Ryan's updates on Monday. Because usually, but I noticed today though, A lot must hit on Monday. I guess they wait, or they don't hit it on the weekends.
They're off the weekends.
I was going to say, you did share a couple things that I don't have included in my regular news. I printed out my news this week, so I can see it. We'll start off with the movies. At some point, I think like the top movies will move to a later segment in the news once real numbers start coming back.
Yeah.
But our top 5 will go from 5 up. Raya and the Last Dragon still holding strong, making 1.7 million. Demon Slayer, the great the anime still hanging on number 4, 1.8 million. Those Who Wish Me Dead. Have you heard of this one? Those Who Wish Me Dead.
Is it a comedy?
It's not a comedy. No. It's,
for some reason I thought it was a comedy.
Yeah, it sounds like it. Yeah, no comedies in the no comedies. I guess Raya and the Last Dragon might have a comedic moment or two, but Angelina Jolie and her son are trapped in a mountain, and the mountain set on fire, and people are trying to kill her.
Saw the trailer. Definitely saw the trailer. Yeah.
Again, it's 2.8 million. It's also on HBO Max at the same time. So it's I know this will be a new segment, and I don't know if it'll be an entire podcast at some point, but HBO Max and Warner Brothers made this gamble a couple months ago to put everything on HBO Max, not knowing when movies would be back to normal. And as movies are creeping back to normal now, we'll see how much they regret or don't regret that decision. So in second place, Wrath of Man, the Jason Statham movie. And then in number 1, Spiral, $8.7 million. So about $9 million for Spiral, which is a Saw sequel, but done in a less of a horror, more of a thriller kind of. I'm saying that totally based off the previews. Chris Rock is a police officer. There are ties to, I want to call him Jigsaw, maybe his name is Jigsaw Face, or Joey. Maybe his name was Joey. Yes. By the way, I was just about to talk in my teacher voice because I always refer to myself in the third person when I'm teaching. Yeah, Mr. Masso does not know much about, Richard does not know much about horror movies, so I've not seen any even seconds or moments of Saw. But Spiral looks like they got a budget to do a Saw movie starring Chris Rock. I want to say Samuel L. Jackson is in it too. So
can I say something?
Yeah, of course. That's your name is first on the.
When I saw the trailer for this before COVID, before the pandemic hit and everything, I was like, awesome, because I love seeing comedians in serious roles, detective roles. I love the transition. So I haven't seen Spiral yet, but I do want to see that. When I saw that Chris Rock was taking on this lead role in such a character, I was like, this looks cool. This looks different. Let's get into this.
Yeah, when we get interns, we need to create a doc called When We Get Interns. Yeah, having the intern research comedians and their first serious roles, that would be a really cool discussion. The first time you see, like when Robin Williams, he's had a couple one, but he did one where he was like a stalker working in a photo booth, kind of killer. Like whenever you see like a comedian do
what was that called?
I think it's called photo booth. It might be called something like that. So, but yeah, when you see
2 hour photo,
1 hour photo. Yeah.
1 hour photo. Yeah.
That's it. All right. All right, so yeah, top movies are back. Like we haven't made $9 million in a movie in almost a year and 3 months, so it's good to see. All right, so jumping right into that, how is Hollywood going to handle the evolving mask mandates? All right, you see over the last week or so that mask mandates are changing, masks roles are changing, and Ryan's fighting people in the streets over masks. But in Hollywood, where it's we're talking more about how we're going to see it in our news programs, in our reality shows, in our about reality shows, like our game shows. Right now, every talk show and game show is to a stock on. There's no audience there. Yeah. And so, and so I saw a little clip this weekend where they were like, on Friday, the Today Show put Hoda and, her partner together. ABC's news still kept everyone apart. Other people. So it's just little things like that you're going to see, and I'm sure over the summer because, if you watch any of the game shows or, Masked Singer type shows without an audience, like America's Got Talent without an audience, it's just not the same.
Yeah. Totally.
Kind of like what, when like sports last year weren't the same, or I watched wrestling without a real audience. It's not the same.
It's not.
Yes.
For me, it was watching the UFC fights and just hearing like the thud of the kicks and the punches and like, oh, and I was like, this is different for sure.
Right. So I'm looking forward to a little bit of that change, which actually I forgot to mention last week. I was on WWE Raw last Monday after the show. I ran right over to WWE Raw, and what they don't prepare you for, I was almost wearing the same shirt. What they don't prepare you for is where you're going to be. And so I'm in two scenes where, like, in the main event, the wrestler gets up on the pose, and I'm like right underneath their arm, just like sitting in my chair, like just looking like so it was fascinating because I did not know what to expect. And what they do is they say, hey, turn everything else off, just have your laptop on, you'll see yourself in the corner. They have a little silhouette of a head to kind of keep yourself, which I kind of need for this, like to kind of keep yourself in frame. And then there's a director talking almost the entire time. So he's like, all right, and so normal stuff like, we're going to commercial, or we'll be back in 1 minute. So that kind of stuff was neat. But since it's all canned noise, he's sitting there going, guys, that's a clapping noise. Make sure you're clapping. Or guys, he's doing bad things. Look like you're booing. So if you ever watch, like, now I'm like, oh, that's why it always makes sense. Suddenly everyone was putting their thumbs down. So you just see me in the background, thumbs down, and making, because the director was telling me what to do. But I had a little criticism because they would play the clapping noise and then yell at us to clap. Like, I think I would have said clapping in 3, 2, 1, or, boo in 3, 2, 1. But they know what they're doing. So from WWE to Broadway. Broadway is coming back. They will not be coming back anytime real soon, but September 14th, soon enough for you. And they're coming back with 3 of the biggest ones. Hamilton, Lion King, and Wicked will come back on September 14th. And then I think about 2 shows every few weeks will slowly come back. And then I think everyone will be back before around Christmas time. So Christmas time, Broadway should be back with a full run. So as you know, working in New York City for a while, that's a huge boost to New York.
Yeah, if I could just speak on that real quick to anybody who's listening and is not familiar with just how big of a part Broadway plays, like that's like one of the biggest, if not the biggest, attractions when people are in Times Square, because it's one thing to go in the 9/11 Memorial, Statue of Liberty, all that stuff. That's like during the day, but you get this rush from like 3 p.m. to like 7 p.m. where people go to their shows. People are trying to find last minute tickets. People go out to the show, obviously enjoy it. And then after that, they all filter into the bars and the restaurants. And you always expect that Broadway rush. So hotels in New York, the businesses in New York, we need Broadway to come back. And I know Broadway is anxious to come back as well. So we're looking forward to that.
Yeah, so it's exciting. And I'm sure they will come back. I did not hear anything or read anything about what they've done with previous ticket holders. Like, did people get refunds a while ago, or can they cash in there? So that'll be interesting to see, because there was a part of me that was like, oh, this might be the time to get Hamilton tickets. But then I like talked myself out. I was like, oh, I'm sure plenty of people, are still cashing in their tickets because it was sold out. So we will see. You might see me. You might see me on Broadway. So happily, there are no. I have no like death stories to tell this week, but in our sad news segment, John Mulaney has filed for divorce from his wife. And for those of you who are familiar with the comedian John Mulaney, he's one of those people you wound up rooting for because he seemed likable and nice and relatable to me. So and a lot of his stand-up was about his wife and how much he loved his wife, but he's had a very public battle with cocaine and alcohol, and he went into a rehab earlier the year. And he has come out of the rehab. He seems to be doing well, except he is now asking for a divorce from his wife. And then a couple days after that news hit, news of him dating Olivia Munn has hit. And it's one of those things that I'm about to go into the teenage boy part of my brain. Like, it's one of those things like, oh, he's dating Olivia Munn. Like, oh, like that's, like that's cool. Like that's
Olivia Munn.
That's Olivia Munn. Like,
exactly.
Yeah. All right, good. But, again, like, I'm sure we'll at some point hear the whole story. Apparently they met at church. So I don't know how much it has to do with, I don't know what church it is, which is funny because everything about John Mulaney's stand-up and what made him, I think, so popular was that he didn't seem like he was going to be like a Scientology guy. So I don't know what they might have just met at a regular church.
Where did you meet Olivia Munn? Because this is going to be dating me, if you will. Where'd you meet Olivia Munn or
G4?
first year? That's what I was going to say. No, it's not even around anymore, right?
No, not even around anymore. Yeah,
I
felt like
love
it changed its name. Yeah, I love G4 too because and I'll never get my friend Brant. I think whatever the name of their show was that was on from like 4 to 6 each night. That Olivia Munn hosted, because the rest of the channel was like it was just people playing video games, and I was not a video game person, but. I think there was a woman named Blair who did the comic part, so it was very pop culture. It was a great background shows to have on, and and Olivia Munn 20 years ago when she was first on that show, and today it was, and again she was the perfect she made you believe she knew everything about everything. Attack of the Show is what my intern is telling me it was called Attack of the Show. So if you need any college credits to Tim Morea, you've got them. So and Tim Morea also is the person who I think first made me aware of John Mulaney and check out his stand-up. So in possibly better news, depending on where you're standing, Kat Dennings, who some of you may know from Two Broke Girls, and recently she captured all of our attention when she played Darcy in WandaVision, which I'm not even giving her the credit of being Darcy in Thor, because Darcy in WandaVision, I think, people won't I don't even know she was in Thor. Darcy in WandaVision, it was recently announced she's engaged to rock star Andrew WK. Now,
perfect match.
Now, here's one of those things. I feel like, do people know who Andrew WK is anymore?
It again,
right? Just because David was like, "Who's Andrew WK?" And I sent him a picture. It was he's dresses all in white. He screams a lot. So, but everything I know about Andrew WK is that he's a real person. So. It seems like a great match. And I don't know what to make of this part of the news. I don't know if you saw this, Ryan. Target announced this week they will no longer be selling Pokemon cards or baseball or basketball cards for the time being. Whether people are aware of this or not, Walmart and Target and other retail stores have been selling out in 2 minutes. So I kind of knew this was happening, but 2 weeks ago or so, I stopped at the local Walmart near my school, and I got there 6:55. They don't open to 7. I was trying to get a little something before school that I needed. And I was like, all right, I'll be in and out. There was a line 20 people deep waiting, and I'm like, what is happening on a random Friday? And I get in line and no one's talking, so I'm like, must be a video game. That's all I can think of. And then these two moms behind me start talking, and you can tell that this is what they do every day, because they were like, oh yeah, where are you going? I'm going to Burlington next. Oh yeah, I'm going to go over to and they were just there to grab baseball cards for their son or football cards for their son, and everyone else in line was grabbing Pokemon cards. So I'm in this line can I just leave the line? I'm not, They open the door at 7:00. They go running, sprinting in, to which I'm still a little thrown off by. I'm like, okay. And as they run towards the card, this worker goes, "We didn't get a restock yesterday." To which, and I think this is what's leading Target to make this decision. The Walmart worker or manager could have walked out to that line and said, "There's nothing new today," But you had people sprinting. They could have run someone over. They could have tripped, gotten hurt. So apparently there is just an insane situation here with people buying out the sports cards and Pokemon cards before 7:00 every day. So
I have a guess, unless you've read something on the cards. So Gary, I never get his name right, but I love him. Gary Vaynerchuk, very successful entrepreneur, influencer on Instagram, always talks about, and I feel like this is something that's ongoing. You see it with Dogecoin, Bitcoin, cryptocurrencies. Everybody's trying to, and excuse me if you're watching, don't stab me, get rich quick, right? So Gary V has been promoting Pokemon cards, baseball cards, basketball cards for probably the last 6 months, big time. And he starts talking about grab onto these cards and then resell them on eBay and all that, right? So, times are weird. Times are interesting. That would be my only guess, because he is always promoting the value of baseball cards and Pokemon cards. Always.
I did hear something about one of the Pauls, whether it's Jake or Logan, or maybe both, has caused that. Because I think maybe it was Jake. He would buy tons of packs and open up the cards, and so that's Again, they also they pick up. We need to get him to maybe talk about comic books and see if we can get and yeah. So Saturday, May 22nd at the Berlin Farmers Market. I'm hearing comic books are the new way, are the new thing that are going to sell out and be crazy. So
comic books and truff sauce at the Berlin Farmers Market.
Yeah, that's actually, yeah. So I was going to say, if the winner of today comes, I'll throw in some free comic books if you win your truff sauce. So speaking of something, I'm usually so good at segues. Speaking of something, the Friends reunion is going to be here before we know it. It was supposed to be probably about a year earlier, but COVID threw the whole thing off. So the Friends reunion was supposed to be the big kick that HBO Max used to grab people, and they had to wait a year. But on May 27th, Friends reunion is hitting. I was really disappointed to hear it is. I don't know if you saw the Fresh Prince reunion from a couple months ago.
No, but here's what I'm going to say. I was disappointed when I read your note.
Okay, yeah. So
yeah, I was.
Yeah. I don't know why I thought this was going to be a special.
Because HBO Max.
Yeah, it was
like,
going to
give us something special.
Right. I thought we were seeing it even if it was an hour, I thought we were seeing the gang all got together. It was somebody's college graduation, somebody's birth, whatever, at this point, Emma's probably graduating college. The twin could be getting married. Like, you could easily come up with a reason for them all to be there. But unfortunately, it's going to be them sitting around a couch showing clips, talking about. So I'm less excited about that. But again, I'm sure that as Ryan and I run down our list of things to talk about, because we try to find things that aren't just like comic books and video games where we can get some of, other listeners in. Friends would definitely be podcast worthy for its own special for how unique it was at the time, because it launched 1,000 copy. Yes. And I actually believe they're still probably getting $1 million.
Renee.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hold on. Let's bring that up, ladies and gentlemen. Renee has a question.
Yeah. Yeah, I think actually I don't know.
Now.
I don't even know how to read that many zeros. Yeah. So yeah, no, I imagine it's something stupid, because again, it was supposed to be the big thing HBO Max threw money at. So, all right, and our last news bit that's going to act as our segue for our main topic of the day is This Is Us has announced that next season will be their last. By the way, as you will tell from when we get to the meat of our show today, like 5 or 6 other shows announced afterwards that next year would be their last.
So it all happened quick.
So, but I'm spotlighting This Is Us in my news segment, not only because I'm a huge fan, but because This Is Us is a show that needs like a set ending. It needs a set ending time. I know some of us are upset. I've had this, we're definitely going to do a This Is Us special on the Ryan Mercer, Richard Masso show. I'm saying that wrong. Ryan Mercer show with Richard Masso. It's a really unique show. Ryan, have you watched all of it or some of it or none of it?
So I've gotten into some of it with Monica. Monica is very upset because the show is coming to a conclusion, and she just has not got around to catching up on this particular show, this particular season. So she's behind. She's avoiding spoilers. So I have some catching up to do, but real quick, just my thoughts on a show like This Is Us. I think even like season 1 or 2, I hadn't watched, but just hearing people talk about it, like it blew up, it grabbed people very quickly. People are into it, invested. So it's definitely gonna be one of those shows, like maybe like the Wonder Years, like you just talk about it for years to come and reference it. So I definitely think it's something special. And Monica's upset it's coming to an end.
Yeah, no, and it was really, I think in my 8 years at the school I'm working at now, it might be the only show that was like water cooler talk where
everyone watched it.
I wanted to watch it on Tuesday for those first three so years. I made sure I watched on Tuesday because Wednesday morning people were going to be talking about it. And so that was a neat, and then it's kind of drifted a little bit where I will wait a little bit before I watch it, or if I don't, and everyone's not talking about it. And a couple times I was like, oh, this show is done, but it really does have the staying power. But I'm only excited for the last season just because I feel like they can put together a really tight story without it getting too crazy. I think if we went on to, I don't watch Grey's Anatomy, but some of the shows that I've watched that go 18, 19 seasons, you wind up having seasons that no one cares for. So, Yeah, so This Is Us is coming to an end. So that's my news and a segue to talk about TV shows. What's up with TV's shows?
Okay, so first of all, because I put something together, would you like to talk about what's been canceled or what's been renewed first?
Canceled.
All right, here we go.
Finish him.
Canceled. What has been canceled? I know that there's some that people could see were going to get canceled.
Attack of the Show. Attack of the Show has been canceled.
Attack of the Show has been canceled. And some where you're just like, whoa, where the hell did that come from?
Yeah, so again, American Housewife on ABC is one of those shows that's been canceled after 5 seasons, but I think most people would be like, what's American Housewife? So it's a show that when I would tape Goldbergs, like I'd always get like a minute or two of American Housewife, and it had a decent cast, but apparently, 5 seasons was enough. What are we thinking about? Should we be talking about like Blackish in this one? Because it's not really canceled. It just says it's doing its last.
Right. Blackish is doing its last season. Mixed-ish is canceled.
Mixed-ish is canceled.
Mixed-ish is canceled. And about American... I was going to say about American Housewife, Monica and I were just talking about this. So we'll come back to this one because this is one of my favorite ones. We'll talk about it in Renewed. We were watching The Rookie last night, and no spoiler alerts here, I promise. I asked her if this had ended this way and it had gotten canceled, we know it's safe, would you have been upset? And she was like, yeah, absolutely. And apparently American Wife ended on like 3 like nail-biting cliffhangers. And now people will never know until, Netflix picks it up or Peacock or something like that. But unfortunately, it's ending at this point in time.
Call Your Mother was canceled on ABC, which was a Kira Sedgwick show, which I don't know why I watched 10-15 minutes of it the other day, and it was just a by the numbers like type of sitcom with canned laughter that didn't work. For Life, which I never got around to watching, which about an inmate who got his law degree, which looked interesting, but didn't have enough.
The Gold, from what I heard too.
I really expected to be reading The Goldbergs was canceled. I have no concept of why. Yeah, there is crazy how Prodigal Son on Fox was canceled, and that was one I'm hearing a lot of people were a little surprised. It's one where he was an FBI agent, and his dad is a notorious serial killer.
Oh, I always wanted to watch that. Never got around to it.
And it's really interesting. It's decent. They handcuffed themselves a little bit with dad was, dad's a serial killer in jail, and him going to have to talk to his dad for advice every episode. It didn't quite work. So CBS has canceled All Rise, which was just a court drama, which those are hit or miss nowadays. SEAL Team with David Boreanaz and the new Clarice are both moving to Paramount Plus. So I don't know what you call that, and
I actually read, because I read about SEAL Team, and then I've read that that's going to be happening for a couple of shows, some not announced yet, that they're moving to those different platforms, and that'll segue into what we're talking about later. It's just like, what is like this renaissance of TV that's going on?
Right. The Unicorn was just outright canceled, and that's one that had a lot of great buzz last year, but just did not last after 2 seasons. Everything on the CW has been renewed. It's interesting. I don't know if my list is just not a ton has been canceled. It's more just like I'm surprised to be reading like, how are these shows, like everything on the CW is been renewed, and CW for the first time ever is now adding Saturday shows. So so they're going to be. And again,
who's the person that's going to take a chance on Saturday ratings?
Again, I think they realize that. And again, it brings us, like to jump around our topics. TV isn't what it was. I was reading the numbers for Prodigal Son and some of the other sitcoms on Fox, and it was like, Tim Allen's show, Last Man Standing. It was getting like 0.9. And. Which I don't know what that breaks down to, but, more people are watching SVU reruns on USA Network, and like that's, and again, that's the problem is is I'm going to read these CW shows, and for our audience, like, chime in if you've watched one episode of All American, Batwoman, The New Charmed, The New Dynasty, The Flash, In the Dark, The New Kung Fu, Legacies, Legends of Tomorrow, Nancy Drew, Riverdale, and Roswell, New Mexico. Like, I would say most people aren't raising their hands, but those shows, they get about 900,000 to 1 million people who watch them, and that's enough for the CW, and that's enough for the demographic. I guess it hits
I've been feeling lately, like, as somebody who's just kind of getting into TV, if you will, I don't know what they look for. I have a feeling that it can't just all be ratings anymore, or viewers, how often people view, you know what I mean? Like, in circling back to the Rookie was one that was on, it was on Monday night, which is primetime TV night, I believe. They moved it to Sunday, and I remember all the Rookie fans, because I'm actually on a Rookie fan page on Facebook, believe it or not. I like the show that much. Everybody was like, everybody was like, well, that's it. The station wants it to die. They moved it to Sunday night at 10 o'clock. Right. Nobody's going to watch it. And it's going into season 4 now. I mean, I don't know what the formula is.
Yeah. And that's, for some of our other topic points that we're going to talk about is, we don't, it's an ever changing. TV is not the same anymore. And I know just as many people who don't have cable. I shouldn't say I know just as many people who don't have cable, but I know a decent amount of people who don't have cable, who don't watch, where I was going to say where I'm from, we called it 3, 6, and 10, and I make the joke all the time with the kids. Like, I wish you guys could just feel for a moment what we felt like, what it felt like when we were younger to have appointment television. And appointment television doesn't exist outside of sports. I think that's fair because we saw how bad the Oscars did. Nobody comes into school, or no one, and not just the students. I mean, the teachers don't come into school on Monday going, oh my God, the Grammys were hysterical, or oh my God, the Grammys were fun. Like, I don't know why hysterical, funny were the two things, but I even see on social media 5-6 years ago, if it was the Grammys, I could post something, people would respond. Like, I knew everyone was watching the Grammys that night. Or there was even a time where I knew people were watching the MTV Video Awards. Like, there was event television, and now it's like, the amount of times that people are like, I watched this show at this time. The amount of times you hear people, it's just on in the background, Yeah. And again, and what you guys do, I know what, it's like you find a show and you're like, oh, we're trying to watch all of NYPD Blue. We're trying to watch all of this because the next episode is going to be on. And that's where these streaming services, are just crushing it. And I don't think there's a network that doesn't have a streaming service connected to it.
No, yeah. And I think that, again, this is the beauty of a podcast is getting off topic. It's almost like either they want some of their let me try to explain what I'm thinking here. Let's use Disney and Fox for an example, because Disney owns Fox. They want to get people back into the what do you refer to it as, appointment television?
Yeah, yep.
Right. So they own Disney Plus, they own Fox, they own that network, and I think they realize that they need to try to balance everything to make it work for them, right? And they started with WandaVision, right? It's like, nope, you're not going to binge watch this. You'll have to wait till the end of the season. You might hear some spoilers along the way, but we're moving back to appointment television because, like you said, everybody would like binge watch it, or they would wait to the end. I've heard people say it, and I'm sure you've heard it as well. Oh, did you see Mandalorian? Nah, I'm waiting till the end. I'm going to binge watch it. And it's like, why would you do that? And, Fox is like, we have way too many streams of for TV and entertainment. We need to figure out how to reel people back in. That's just my random thought on the topic.
No, and it's what's happening. And, it was announced that Falcon and Winter Soldier, like, if they were judged by Nielsen ratings, were like a top rated show. So, Ryan, you shared a link with me earlier today that over in England, they've, Disney Plus Disney has just taken away the Fox channel.
Yeah, just get rid of it.
They're just getting rid of it. Just so it's like anything that was on the Fox channel in England is just watch it on Disney Plus, which I can't. I mean, again, like that to me, that move happens here. I think we'd grumble for a second, then we'd be like, "What's the difference?"
Right. Yeah.
Like I know the current woman I'm seeing, she leaves the TV on. It's like her TV watching, if it's not with me, and it's not SVU, is just background. She puts on Fox 29, and it's just on in the background. So she's kind of like, oh, Lone Star's pretty good. Like, I haven't watched an episode of Lone Star because I would never think to put it on. She's seen it all, now looking at her work, doing her schoolwork, doing her, her work. But so she knows all these shows that are on Fox. And outside of her, I'd be curious what happened if, like, oh, you can't watch Lone Star on Monday, or no, it'll be out on Monday, but you just put it on Disney Plus. And again, like, do you just get rid of an entire, like, it's mind blowing. I can't imagine it getting rid of an entire station, like, so I'd be curious to see. Again, now England is different. England existed as we have our British. I don't know if British STEM is still listening, but again, I've often been very, I was going to say proud of England. That's not. I've never been proud of it, but I've been envious of British TV over United States TV because British TV does less episodes. Yeah, Shannon wouldn't watch Lone Star if it was just on. All right. That's good.
But from the
go ahead.
I was going to say
we've forgotten to mention
the few trailers I do see, British TV looks like they get it right.
They really do. They really do. And so if anyone's listening who hasn't been listening from the beginning, we're having a little contest today. If you share this live stream and tag 2 people in it, Ryan's going to go back and check out everyone who shared and and you will be entered to win this truffle hot sauce. I'm calling it truff hot sauce made from truffles. That sounds right. I should do that.
So that's truff hot sauce, truff hotter sauce, and special edition truff white sauce.
Yeah,
all in one.
See, I want to just try just a little. Yeah. So Shannon, you got to try to win this so I can try just a little bit and then be like, yeah.
Oh, it won't show the flag.
Oh, look at that. British Tim GB. That was right.
It won't show the flag.
Yeah. But again, British Tim, it's got the nickname British Tim because, he again, and there are hysterical game shows and reality shows. Like, and it's like, I've seen them try to take a successful British game show or comedy show and redo it in the United States. And outside of The Office, they all fail. Yeah. And honestly, that first season of The Office was not as, like, I was not going to be shocked if it did fail. But we watch a game show called 9 out of 10 Cats Does Countdown all the time, where it's comedians play this word guessing and math games, where I'm like, I just feel like the British, they just do it better, because if they tried to do it with, our comedians, and there are some shows, like Shannon watches shows on during the day on her Fox show where, like, Shannon, what's the name of that spelling show that you watch? But yeah, where they try to do comedians, and it's just not as funny as British TV. So our podcast was not meant to be an advertisement for the BBC, but but it is. So yeah. Game shows. Whatever happened to game shows? Like, again, that's what's, that's like, there's so many things that game shows become hot for 5 minutes and then they go away. Reality shows are hot 25 words or less. So yeah, all these things become hot for a second and then they go away. So I don't know what the next new trend is. I don't know what's going to be, The Bachelor is something everyone's watching for a couple years, but then it lasts 20 seasons,
What about, like, remember when Who Wants to Be a Millionaire was, like, explosive?
Right.
Now it's on, like, midday and there's nobody in the audience.
And there's no one in the audience. And not just because of COVID, but because, they film 40 episodes over 1 week, and Meredith Vieira or whoever the new person is does it. Again, game shows are something that, so the original Taskmaster was amazing. Oh yeah, I didn't see the US remake, so again, yes, Ryan, British Tim and I, we can show you all these British shows you should check out. Again, Taskmaster is a phenomenal show. It takes 4 comedians, and then the Taskmaster gives them, like, we're going to send you into a house, and you have to make a movie out of whatever's in just this one room, and you've got, and it's like, or you have to grow your own chili peppers and make it. It's just goofy tasks, but because they're comedians, it comes off a little more fun. So I know I usually let you ask questions, but I'm kind of just chatting away today.
No, you're good.
I think the end, we can just end the whole podcast right here, but we'll talk more about it, is TV is not what it used to be.
No.
That being said, I heard somebody the other day on the radio say like TV just isn't what it used to be, meaning like the quality of the shows. I was like, except there's some really good shows out right now, like WandaVision, Falcon and Captain Winter Soldier, Invincible, Boys,
Organized Crime.
Like there's a ton of good TV out there. I did forget to watch. I only tape Organized Crime, and it seemed like this week was an SVU that led to an Organized Crime.
Yeah, Monica actually caught that. She's like, we have to watch SVU before we get to Organized Crime. And
a plug for this week's SVU, which I am as someone who is, I'm so psyched that they're doing something like this. In season 14, they had a case where a little boy like killed his neighbor and drowned a cat and did all these things, but he was 14, 15. So he was put into juvie. And so now this season he's 18 and he's out of jail. And that's what this is, so it's like, that's genius. Like you're respecting that you have a 20 years of show here, and then someone was like, oh yeah, right. He would be 18 and he's out of juvie.
Yeah. And that's how you keep this show going. Like, I think that's how you keep this show going, is one of those things. And then Monica and we randomly put on, and for anyone who's listening who likes SVU, if you go to Hulu, you have like different categories like Best of Stabler and Benson and things like that. So we'll just throw that on. I think one thing, and this is just random as heck in regards to the growth of Law & Order SVU and keeping it interesting. Mariska, I can't think of her last name.
Hargitay?
Yeah. Does a great job of looking like a captain who has been on the job for 18 plus years and is burned out, but she still has like that authoritative presence about her. So I think it was great growth on all, or her and Stabler both. Just a random thought, if you will. I think they got that right, at least.
So to tie back to where I was going before I distracted myself, but you just nailed it. Like, you just nailed the whole point. You said, yeah, Monica and I we'll put Hulu on and look up something, you're not going to USA, you're not going to Ion, like you're not, for me, there are 1,000 different things that I could watch, 1,000 things I know I need to watch. Invincible, I need to finish Preacher, all these things I should watch. Yeah. And then every DC show that's on HBO Max, like I need to watch Titans, finish Doom Patrol, all these things I should watch. I'm watching a gentleman on YouTube. I think his name is Nick DiPiardo. Like he's just this gentleman, and he takes cheesy Hallmark movies and he kind of just reviews them. And it's 40 minutes, and I spend
hilarious.
To me it is. I don't even know if it is. It's just like he kind of pokes fun at these shows, and and before that it would be like the amount of YouTube I watch is just dumb.
Oh, me too, totally.
When it's like, totally. and it's nonsensical. It's like, it's wrestling YouTube, it's reviewing YouTube, the the Cinema Sins, just tons of YouTube. And then like now I'm watching House. When I go sit in my regular TV, I watch House. Like, yeah, all right. Like again, I don't know why, but again, I have 1,000 shows I need to catch up on or watch, and I'm watching House,
But to defend you or speak to your point, both, I pay for YouTube Premium. I have no regrets. And like you just said, I'll watch Cinema Sins and crack up and be like, hey, that's exactly what I was thinking. Like, he nailed it. Or Cinema Wins, and you're like, ding, 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 ding,
right.
Like it's entertaining. Like, these people are worth it.
Yeah, no, and that's the thing. And like, there's been a couple times I've paid people's Patreons for like a year or so, like, because I'm like, I'm, I will tell you, when I move and I'm in a different place, like I'm definitely cutting cable, and again, like we have to figure out sports, or it's just football, even if it's just, I have to figure out watching Eagles games. Other than that, I can't think of a thing that I definitely need the TV for. So,
do you know why I'm stuck?
Because where your wife, your twins?
MTV, because she needs to have MTV. I could just put on Netflix for the kids if I wanted to, or Disney Plus. MTV, she has to have it. I've tried several times, doesn't work.
I wonder what's up if you get rid of it, if Paramount Plus has that.
Oh, I'm gonna cut it without asking.
Yeah, just 100%. Maybe not even. Maybe she's not listening, right?
Does Paramount own MTV?
And Paramount owns MTV.
What?
So,
when the hell did that happen?
6 years ago. I don't know. 6 years ago. Yeah.
I was wondering
what is she watching? What's Monica watching? The challenges?
Dude, all of it. The challenge, the reunions, the Teen Moms, the catfish, all of it. She watches all
So does she know? Monica, are you listening? What happened to...
No, she's not, because she just got her new TV and she's watching Teen Moms.
So if anyone watches Catfish, what happened to his original helper? Because you know how he had a guy always film for him?
I did see that. I saw.
Yeah, where'd he go? Yeah. Where'd he go? So Catfish is that kind of show I only watch when we're at a comic book show Sunday morning. I don't know why I do this, because I should know better. I'll be like, oh, we got it. We're getting ready. We're getting, Shanna's taking 18 hours to get ready for us to leave the hotel room. And it's not a joke. And so I'm like, oh, I want to put on background noise. I'll put on something with videos. Like MTV doesn't play video. So I wind up getting wrapped up in these Catfish episodes that are on at 7 a.m. on MTV. And why can't I think of his name? It's a... So
you want me to look it up?
Yeah, what Catfish guy's name is. And I always like how they're...
just said something. Oh, no, that was you.
But yeah, so... Yeah, when I look at my Comcast thing, I've got MTV.
Max Joseph announced his departure from Catfish. Does that sound right?
That sounds Mac, yeah. What's the main guy's name?
The main guy's name is... Hang on.
Just give me the first letter when you find it. This is riveting podcast. Waiting for it.
Is it Nev Schulman?
Nev. That's it.
Yeah.
So give me the first letter. Give me the first letter of his name.
Of who? The guy?
Of the guy's name you just said. The main host.
Oh, the main host, N.
And is it Nev?
Yes.
Nailed
it is. You got it right.
I just needed a little.
You win the trophy.
Yeah, thank you. All right. So, you know what? Why don't we just auction it off to anyone who shares our video and tag some people in it? So Nev, yeah. So Nev, again, I don't know if he got a new host just to co-host, just to mix things up, or, but apparently, so House is on the Pop Network, and the Pop Network must be involved with Paramount and MTV, because they just run MTV commercials during House episodes, and they're telling me that Catfish is coming back, and that the Challenge All Stars is coming back. It's just a lot, and Teen Mom 2 is coming back. So
I surrender.
There's a lot happening there. Yeah.
So speaking real quick of YouTube, and for those of you that don't know, there is a YouTube TV.
Yeah.
Richard, your thoughts on Cobra Kai, the series?
It's really good. I really like. I really like how they. And I think what I'm about to say is 1,000% right. Okay, or I will buy you your own truff box if I'm wrong. They they give homage to the source material without being reliant on the source material to set their plots. It's its own standalone show. It would be an enjoyable show if it did not have connections to the past, but it makes it that much better because of the connections.
Yes.
Yeah.
So you are watching it now.
Yeah. No, that's what I mean.
Okay.
You can't. Yeah.
So I gotta tell you about this. So out of all I think one of the biggest things about the TV series that I love is when they connect certain songs to the series, right? And the one that they were playing when the Cobra Kai team got back together and they were riding the motorcycle, and I was just like, yo, it's fucking awesome. They're all older, their buddy has cancer, they're reminiscing about the old times, yes, they were some jerks and they were violent, but we're all older now. The one's like a priest, but like you said, it's perfectly synchronized, a little bit for the younger crowd, a little bit for the ones that love the older films, and it's just done perfectly.
Yeah, no, they've hit a home run. And, again, we talk a lot about the mistakes that some of these shows make where they're too worried about, oh, we got to make sure we do this, And again, that's what Cobra Kai wasn't like, oh, we got to make sure we say, put them in a body bag. And we got to make sure, again, they weren't going to be able to not do a wax on, wax off joke. But again, it was so well done. And I think it helps that Ralph Macchio is ageless and Billy Zabka is like I said,
Zabka gained a wrinkle.
Right. Yeah. He looks. Yeah. So again, and they made the focus on young kids, and then they wait to season 3 to bring back the real bad guy of the series. So, I was going to say,
scary as hell, in my opinion.
Yeah, absolutely. I was going to say, it sucks that first off, it sucks for him that I think he made Geico or car insurance commercials, where he pretended to be like a peaceful sensei. But then, he came on to he got to actually reprise his role. But again, I was going to say, it sucks that Pat Morita passed away, but I think Pat Morita would be 100 something right now. So I don't know what they quite would have done with him in this, but that was a show that helped put YouTube TV on the map, and then they pieced out, so the general idea here is, how do you keep track of all of it? Like, how do you watch what you watch? And I think that's why you went it with a lot of, I think a lot of our listeners today would say they watch what they want to watch. And some people are like, I just turned the TV on and I'm scrolling through Facebook. It's on in the background, because my kid runs the TV during the day. And, it's, and that's the big thing. How many adults, especially adults with kids, like, how much TV time do you have?
Yeah. You want to hear something? This is a true story. This is a true freaking story. So we turn on the TV. We just set it up at 6:00 tonight. So I tell Monica, I'm like, could you please put on Star Wars? I just want to see what something
right. Something that shows off what it can do. Right.
Exactly. I want to see what it looks like. So we put it on, and I start looking at my phone to get some things ready for our podcast here. And Jade, my 4-year-old, goes, Dad, it looks like you're not watching the TV like you said you wanted to. And I'm like, okay, fine. Put on what you want to watch. Like you said, the kids are up. The kids are on the TV. It's just the way it is.
It's one of those things that, and this is subject matter for your other podcast, Teenagers, Twins, Toddlers, and Teenagers and Twins. I didn't mean to mess. I didn't mean that to sound silly, like I was making fun of it.
It's so funny though.
That was just my bad memory. But yeah, no, at some point that nope, the kids are never going to have this. And at some point those kids will all have a TV in their room, because you'll be like, yep, nope, there is a TV. Yep, go. Cause we are not. Yeah. And again, as you know, with Jade, we are controlling her screen time. Also, here is the iPad. Go away. So,
oh yeah, 110%. There's a meme that says, "Do I punish the kid by taking away their iPad, or is that punishing myself?"
Right. So
it's a reasonable question.
Yeah. And again, I'm making that because I'm, Shannon and I, when Shanna's kids were 7 and 5, when I met them, they each had a TV in their room and Disney Channel was on. And that's pretty much it. Maybe Zach would put sports on every random time, but that was it. They didn't have devices. Now, your kids are, a few years away from that. Yeah, they're not going to even care about a TV as long as they have a device in their hand and they're connecting to, they're going to be screaming at you. Why is the Wi-Fi not faster? Why don't we have G7 like the other people do? So,
and I'm going to be like, there's 800 people in this house. We don't even have a dining room.
Right. Guys. Yeah. Sorry. It is pretty neat.
It is hilarious.
You're trust me. Dad, if you gave up your podcast spot, we could have our own room. Yep. Nope. Not sorry.
Nope. Not happening. Not happening. No.
Nope. Your bed is underneath the TV. You could really you could have a whole other podcast about the beds that go into walls and come out. Yeah. You guys. You need to, even if you just adopt kids, you just need to have more kids in the house
But I just need to mention it because I was wondering about it in reference to shows that have been canceled. I heard a lot of people talk about Rebel and how great it was, and it's canceled. I don't know if you saw it or heard about it at all.
I've watched the first episode and have the next 5 taped, and it was that was a little gut punch for no real reason other than I was like,
no reason. I heard.
What did you? Yeah. What was your determination on that? Everything about it was. I just don't know. And again, when we tie this into cancel culture, I don't know what it seemed to hit all the demographics. She's a woman who's been married 3 times. She works with her kids, as she's like an Aaron Brockovich type. And, and it's just zaniness, and she's a very multicultural cast, but set in a kind of a funny, she has a kid with an African-American man. She has, they're her kids, it was, and again, and Katie Seagal is excellent. And Like I had to Google that first scene when she comes out in the dress, and I was like, I'm going to Google how old she is because she is like, and I was like, I was like, yes, I am attracted to a 67-year-old woman. Like, yeah, I did not know that was the thing, but no, she's and she's, again, you talk about a comedian-ish woman who went on to play some really good serious roles. Like I would have guaranteed we go in a time machine to when she's on Married with Children. There are some reviews about her that say she's a one-hit wonder. She's stuck as Peg Bundy. That should be a lesson to every actor who's worried about being typecast. She was Peg Bundy. She was, big hair,
housewife,
just goofy.
No one took her seriously.
Yeah, she has played everything since then. Like she's always played some form of a wife, but an angry wife, a Sons of Anarchy wife.
And that's what I was just gonna say. Whoever thought let's bring back Katie Seagal for Sons of Anarchy, great casting choice, man. Like that was like spot on.
Her husband.
Is he the writer?
He's the creator.
That's why I'm sorry. As soon as you said that, I heard it.
I think that's the chicken and egg. I think.
Yeah.
I don't think it was. They met on it. I think it was. So, I never quite got there. So, but maybe I could see myself watching on Sons of Anarchy just to do a podcast. So,
5 seasons in for me, and then I fell off.
When after they went to Ireland to rescue,
4 seasons?
I was gonna say I lost it when they went to Ireland to rescue the baby, and there was just like,
oh yeah, because the biker gang would do that, right?
Right. They're like, all right, we gotta go to Ireland. I mean, yeah, you gotta go rescue your baby from. Sorry, spoilers. Not that you were like, no, that's not a plot point. They wouldn't take a baby to Ireland, so
they wouldn't do
that. So yeah. Again, to sum everything up, there's so much out. And again, by the way. She couldn't trick me. Again, but we're asking you guys to take an hour of your TV time to listen to us. And then I saw like, British Tim is in like, there's people who listen to tons of podcasts. There's people, and there's people there's people who read books. So I think that a couple of years from now, we're doing a podcast where we're talking about what happened to TV. Like it really did just evolve. And I honestly, I don't think I'd be upset if there were just less stations, there were just there was just less stuff to watch, but there isn't, that's the point. Like everything is available to watch right now.
No, and you're right. And that to me, that does fall in line with the same thing as, I don't want to call it the podcast dilemma, but how much time does one person have in the day? You know what I mean? Like some people have their podcasts and they like them and they follow them, they subscribe. As soon as a new episode hits, that's what they listen to. But I mean, like how long is your commute? Like how long are you on the train? My list.
Yeah, Tim made a list of all the things he wants.
I read it too. I read it too.
I was like, it was a good list. Yeah, it was a good list. We're not quite there yet. We're not quite in those. Once we get our first and this episode is brought to you by Fresh Kit Meals. How do you feel about cooking at home? Like, are you tired of always having to organize all the ingredients? Well, Fresh Kit Meals puts those.
It'll be like this.
I gotta practice my read. Yeah. So.
No. It'll be like that, and then you'll hear a ding, and we'll be like, oh, cha.
Right.
Here it is, Fresh Kit Meals.
But listen to me talking about Fresh Kit Meals. Today's episode is actually brought to you by Truff Hot Sauce. Have you always wanted to try hot sauce made with truffles? Did you speak to where this came from? Is this from your city days?
No. Like for when I first saw it, I think it was like, how like when you're hitting the story on Instagram and you see an advertisement.
Oh, yeah, sure. Yeah.
And I was like, cool. Like, how cool could it be? Because so many brands these days, they get the cool photographer, and it's just like, and I like supporting startup businesses, small businesses. It took off without me, which most things do. If you notice, you're like, oh well, that doesn't seem that interesting, and it's like, boom. So yes, that's what happened like 3 or 4 years ago or something. I saw it, Truff hot sauce. Some people tried it. It's life-changing. Look, not even open. I didn't put it on my chicken. I didn't put on my meal prep. It's ready to go.
Just share this video and tag 2 friends.
And that's
by the way, when we look at the videos and the shares later, we're like, everyone just tagged each other. Everyone just tagged. Tim tagged Shannon and me. Shannon tagged Tim and me.
And the winner is Renee.
Right. Congratulations, Renee. Enjoy that. Which I see then Renee just auctioning it back off because she'll be like, yeah. I was gonna say, are we allowed to? Yeah, we can't get into like. You can also get a bottle of your favorite wine instead. But I'm not saying if Renee. I don't know if Renee drinks wine or not. But yeah. So TV, what is it good for? Something. I still watch it. You still watch it. We had some notes here, and obviously I think we just talked, but it's ever evolving, it's ever changing, and I think the streaming service is the name of the game right now. 5 years ago, it was HBO and Showtime were everything, and then it was Amazon. Then it was everything that was on Amazon. So
yeah, and damn, what was I going to say? What you were saying about TV?
Game of Thrones.
Oh, that's what I wanted to say. Not Game of Thrones, but huge props to HBO for staying in the fight during all this craziness.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like it was The Sopranos, and then other people came along. FX put out some edgy things. Other, what were they called? Cable T or whatever they were.
They had a name. It was funny, yeah, because I was going to say they were. It was the regular stations,
yeah,
and then it was we call them like HBO's, like the paid stations, and then there were these FXs and USA's,
yes,
and but that's where TNT, USA, FX. That's where a lot of TV. I watched a lot of TV, like Psych, and there was just a ton of stuff on USA, TNT, and FX, like Sons of Anarchy, shows like that, and I don't know. I mean, FX still has some stuff on. I just haven't. I kind of fell out.
I saw that in the list. Archer renewed season 12.
Archer was okay. So, and Archer hit a stumbling block. They're back. Archer was in a coma, and they did like 3 fantasy seasons, and it was like 1 fantasy season too many. But he's back and he's awake. Archer is a very consistent show. Again, It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. All these things that just would not exist on regular TV existed on FX, and now I think now TNT has the NHL. And it's like okay, so
hang in there, TNT.
Yeah, right, yeah, and I think USA has wrestling on 2 nights a week for 2 of their main hours. So again, I like wrestling, but again, it's reality shows. It's just a mix of stuff, and I'm so curious how the last story we'll share I also shared with you was that HBO might be sold to the Discovery Channel. So
so random.
Yeah, so random. But like the Discovery Network is like we're looking. We have the money to pay for it, and we're looking to get our stuff instead of making our own streaming service. We'll just buy HBO, and because AT&T thought this is genius when they spent all this money to have this merger, and it is not working out for them. So they might cut their losses and sell off their TV divisions, and and again, nothing would change with HBO Max other than it would now have all the Discovery Network stuff on it, which
you can't do Shark Week, every month. Shark Week is an annual thing, so hang in there, Discovery Channel.
Right. Yeah, HGTV will also be on HBO Max as well. So
what?
Yeah. It'll be very well. I mean, but not as like I guess you can watch reruns there. And yeah, again, that's why this could easily turn into this. This could have been a more well organized podcast, or it could just we talk for another hour. But there are portions of October and November where all I do is watch cooking, like the Cooking Channel, which has a better name than that. The Food Network has their October, all their Halloween things where like they have a pumpkin carving contest, or they have, the scary baking things. And then I'll watch all the Christmas specials. And I don't know why. That's what I watch for several weeks. So I don't know what the solution is. I think maybe the understanding is we watch what we want to watch and don't worry about it. And at some point, our favorite TV shows will be canceled because not enough people watched it, and we'll be sad, but we'll find a new show. And so don't
real
cry,
quick.
guys.
So real quick, hopefully I can have her on the podcast one day. My cousin's lovely wife. I'm trying to find a good photo. I think this is it. Give me 1 second. Screen share. For those of you that don't know, all the way to the right is Miss Emma Frisch. She is my cousin's wife. She is a very extremely nice person, full of life and energy. And she was on the very first season of the Next Food Network Stars. She did not win. She did not win, but she did a great job. She hung in there. But yeah, so I kind of know a celebrity, everybody.
That's pretty cool.
Food networks and things like that.
That's pretty sweet. You know, we did not say the word Netflix at any point in this podcast, which just shows, but again, it just shows how crazy, you know.
Oh, like, and I'm sure, right. You know, you just said it. That story's its own podcast. Right. Going back to Monica forgot. She was like, how did Netflix start? And I was like, you had to order it. And
you had to order it.
Whoa.
Right. Used to get DVDs. And again, I it wasn't me, but I know I had a friend who would get he would order the DVDs, like 3 DVDs would come at a time. And this friend had a machine that copied the DVD onto a blank disc. And so they would, so boom, and he would go and he would send, he or she would send it back. And then, and that's all it was. It was just boom, send me a new one. I make a copy, entire seasons of shows, it was crazy, but like, yeah, that was it. That same friend never really watched any of those episodes or shows.
He just had them though.
He just had them. He was just like, I have the ability to burn this, to steal this information. So, but yeah, he's a nice enough guy. He just knows he was wrong at the time. But again, the same friend got rid of all his like DVDs because he's like, I've got tons of DVDs. All they do is they look nice on a bookshelf, So
yeah, that's all they're good for anymore.
I was gonna say he brought them to a comic book show and sold them, but that was. He gave them to me to sell at a comic book show for them. So, but yeah, like that's the thing. All the time, I'll be like, oh, Shannon and I would do it every Black Friday because Black Friday they would put entire seasons on sale for like $5. So, but every Son of Anarchy, every House, every Dexter. Dexter's coming back, by the way. If anyone who's watched Dexter,
it's coming back.
Everything is new again. So, yeah, we can keep talking. I'm going to say, like, I don't know if you heard. Wonder Years is coming back, but see, I get frustrated with this. I'll Ricky Schroeder for a second here. I don't know if you saw Ricky. I don't know if you saw Ricky in the news today, but I'll do my Ricky Schroeder version. So first, I'm going to yell at Ricky. Ricky, take a deep breath. Go away. So. Ryan, when you walk into a building, what do you put on?
I put on my mask.
Yeah. All right. All right. So, you know what Ricky Schroeder did? Ricky Schroeder he's like, Costco, give me my money back. So, segueing from Ricky Schroeder to the original topic that I was talking about that I totally forgot. Those of you who get to watch the show get to see ADHD in full effect every week at 8:00 on Mondays.
On both ends.
On both ends. I was talking about something so important too.
The Wonder Years.
The Wonder Years. Thank you. Thank you so much. So, the Wonder Years, but they're going to do it with, speaking of Psych, Dule Hill from Psych, from West Wing as the dad.
West Wing.
Yeah. And again, so it's going to be the experience of a black family in the 60s in Alabama. All right. But it's called the Wonder Years. It's going to, which it is like, and here's the thing. And this is where, when we talk a little bit about our cancel culture, this is people reacting to a headline. It's not the Wonder Years. They're not erasing Fred Savage, from your, they are telling a new story. I mean, listen, the Goldbergs was just the Wonder Years in the 80s, with less of the drama. Like
I was about to say, much
less
funnier.
of less of the drama and more of the goofiness. But again, they're going to try to do the Wonder Years from the perspective of, it's not a like. But again, you see the anger in the comments, like, and again, and my favorite lines of like, I'm not a racist or nothing, but you don't need to. It's not hurting you. It's not going to hurt you. You were going to watch it or not watch it.
They're just trying to make their political correctness. I read it all too last night, and I was like, shut the fuck up.
Right. But like, here's where I Dule Hill and his family. It's in the 60s, and it's going to have a voiceover. Don Cheadle will do the voiceover, which is kind of cool. And Don Cheadle's also going to play his adult. He's the little kid. He's also going to play him as an adult. All right. It's called Growing Up the Joneses. All right. Like, that's the new show. How many? Right. Okay. Hey guys, you should check out this new show called Growing Up the Joneses about this black family in the 60s in Alabama, starring Dule Hill and Don Cheadle. And you know what? People are going to go, okay. Or, hey, there's a new Wonder Years. Like,
okay, I like that perspective.
Like that's like to me, like, and that's what use the franchise. If the new Fast and Furious movie was called, Escape Run, and that's it. It didn't have any connection to Fast and Furious, and you would just call it Escape Run. Why would you do that? Why would, it wasn't on my list, but I did. One of those NCISs finally got canceled. I think New Orleans finally got canceled after 7 years. So, but again, they didn't just come up with a new cop show and call it, New Orleans. They said NCIS. They took advantage of it. So, I actually really hope that new Wonder Years makes its way to like being a success. So,
I do too.
We'll be here to talk about it if it does.
We'll be checking in with it or checking in about it.
Yeah. Shannon's probably got Lone Star on in the background right now.
I know Monica's got Teen Mom on.
When are those kids gonna? I hope it works out for those kids.
Oh, every time I watch it with Monica, I'm just like, don't they have lots of money? And Monica's like, they blew it all, and I'm like,
yeah, right.
Okay.
Yes, the pop network that House is on. When I catch it later in the day, like there's a new Honey Boo Boo on, except it's not. It's all about Mama June, But Honey Boo Boo is now 16, 17, and it's like, and and again, mom was a train wreck, but again, it's just this craziness. Like, oh my goodness, these people are like the original Teen Mom's kids are teenagers now.
Teenagers now, yeah.
I bet you those are. You could get one of those people for your podcast.
Oh yeah. I think so too.
Maybe not Farrah Abrams, but you could probably find somebody.
I was just gonna say, one of them stayed in my I can't say it, in a hotel that I know of.
Okay,
like 2 or 3 years ago, and I remember texting Monica being like, "Yo, so and so's here," but I heard that the other one is here. Is MTV trying to set up a cat fight? I don't know. And she ended up looking it up, and nothing came of it. But I mean, you could totally see MTV doing that, right? Oh, yeah. We got this beautiful hotel for you, and then it's like their rooms right next to one another. Get the camera. They saw one another.
I gotta imagine Ryan's teen dad is a lot like Malik on This Is, in some of the newer seasons of This Is Us. There's a new character who is a teen dad who's very responsible, and his child's the main priority. So I gotta imagine that was you. You gave up your football scholarship to care for your daughter.
My football scholarship.
Yeah, you got, and that's when you got into weightlifting and taekwondo.
Yeah.
So,
mixed martial arts. I was still some craziness, but martial arts kept me balanced. And yes, Renee, that's coming up. And I wonder if Richard knows anybody who had kids at a younger age.
Nobody will speak. Apparently, no one who will speak. They refuse. Like what? And we won't name names, but I just so. And again, as you know from without tooting your own horn, like it's not easy. It's mad. And again, like if you can give yourself mad, but like the person I knew who had a teen mom or dad experience, like just beyond like where they're at today, how beautiful those kids are, and again, you gauge success however you want to gauge success. The fact that there's a 23-year-old and 20-year-old out there who are super healthy and alive and have personalities where, they could have been given up. They could have been given up for adoption. No one was talking about you. Crazy. But again, like it's just, I will say that to me, I'm going to take away a huge, because by the time she agrees to do it, we'll have like 20 new listeners. The most inspiring part of her story is that she is however many months pregnant. She's going to the local family doctor, and the local family doctor says to her, "Oh yeah, you need to consider abortion because no one will want to adopt a mixed child." And and then she's there by herself. She's doing this on her own, maybe with a friend with her, but she did not, and first off, just the laughability of that 20 years later when like mixed children are the most beautiful, things in the world. But also like 20 years ago, they were the most beautiful things in the world. This, and again, and I hate it because this guy is one of those like, he's a revered doctor of, no, he's a piece of crap. But totally. Not to get into that part of the story, but to get into just how strong, like how strong she was, and she made a decision, and she gave up and did all these things, and again, like, as mirroring you, she just did it 10 years before you, but that's all she was just ahead of her time. So
yeah, no, it's one of those things where I always I don't say this as much anymore, but I used to feel that I needed to say, not that I condone teen pregnancy or anything, right? I used to put that before I said anything. And now I'll just flat out say it. I have no regrets, period, right? Like my oldest daughter, and it's funny because, and I mean this like sincerely, we all went to a family party this past Saturday, and she's the life of the party. Everybody's laughing with her. We're all enjoying ourselves like we normally do. And for some reason, I felt the need to say, you know what, Alexis, you entered our lives early, but life would not be as interesting as it is for all of us if you were here. So yeah, no regrets there.
And I love that you say no regrets, because it's one of the first things that Shanna ever said to me. And I was probably ignorant. I wasn't being mean or anything, but I just remember at some point early in our relationship saying to her, like, oh, if you could do anything different, or and she was just like, I have no regrets.
Yeah,
like
perfect.
I can't have I can't have regrets, because if I have regrets, I don't have the two of them in my life. And I remember just thinking, like, like you can't, like, you can't go back, because it and so I think that's beautiful. So and this is the kind of heartwarming stuff that should be on TV, and then more people would watch TV. And basically, we just basically did an episode of This Is Us. So if anyone hasn't seen it, that's what we just did. So.
Mixed in with a little bit of American Wife.
Right. So.
Oh, and I don't know if I ever told you, Richard, my dad actually grew up in, where is it? Jenkintown, Pennsylvania.
Oh, okay. With the J.
So I always like to ask him, like, oh, they mentioned this, or is it that?
So he's heard of a Wawa. Then he knows what Wawa is.
He knows what a Wawa is. Okay. Yeah.
I do. Yeah. So, which. I gotta watch Mayor of Easttown, the new HBO Max.
Brought that up today, yeah.
Yeah, I gotta focus on that, because apparently Kate Winslet learning and nailing the Delco dialect is.
Did you know SNL did a skit with it?
I did. I saw that.
I saw that. I was like, this is pretty funny. And when Elon Musk came in at the end,
anytime Gritty can get some screen time too. So. Philly Fanatic and Gritty in the same SNL sketch with Elon Musk. That sums up 2021. Elon Musk, the Fanatic, and Gritty were in a skit together. Oh, you're making a joke. No, that was real life. So cool. We are going to say goodbye, but SNL podcast I could do by myself for 3 hours, but 100% we will do an SNL podcast one of these days. That we need to. That's a rainy day, like So are we taking off for Memorial Day?
Was that next week?
That's next month. Nope.
Oh yeah.
Nope, I'm wrong. It's 2 weeks from now. So.
Okay, so we'll take off for Memorial Day in 2 weeks.
Memorial Day in 2 weeks. We'll be back next week. We'll probably still be just talking, so people just want to get off the air. So I'm glad I plugged my computer in, because I was definitely going to lose my battery. So
so we hope you enjoyed everything. Don't forget, we're gonna check this out.
Yeah.
See who the winner is.
I'm seeing lots of shares on my page. So.
Yeah, we're going to check this out. We're going to see who the winner is. We will draw a name later this week. Just to be fair, I'm going to put my hand in the bucket and pull out the names. So, yeah, that's how we're going to roll with that. And it is 9:18 p.m. We hope that you enjoyed this episode. We did stay on track for the most part, but that's some of the fun about having a podcast. You can just go sideways, and no producers like, hey, back on track.
Right.
Like,
I was going to say no commercial things we had to hit. So.
All right. So I hope everybody enjoyed our episode. We will see you next week, because next week is not Memorial Day.
Right. See you guys. Bye.
Bye, everyone.